So, I just wanted to go into a little discussion about backpacking, camping, hiking pots. And I have an excessive amount of alcohol stoves, but to boot, I have an excessive amount of pots. And I can't go somewhere and look at something and say, oh, that could be an alcohol stove, without going somewhere and looking at something and say, that would make an awesome backpacking pot. So I just want to browse through this really quick and show you what some of my opinions are about different pots that are out there, different pots that you can use, and what my choices are for certain things. So for a long time, I was a Kmart grease pot guy, and for good reason. It's a cheap $6 pot, and I made a cozy for it. But that's okay. It's a little tight now. It's old, and it has a strainer on the inside, which is nice. I don't know that I've ever used it, but it can be nice for straining noodles or something like that. But it's nice, simple, easily holds 3, maybe even 4 cups of water. It's a good 2-person pot. It's not bad for one person because it doesn't weigh much. But for a long time I was a grease pot person because it has a nice large base. And the bigger the base is, the more surface area there is for heating your water, and it gets done faster. But then I started looking into things that were a little smaller, a little different size, because I wanted to carry them in my backpack, and that's a big area in my backpack. Weight-wise, it's not much different than some of the other ones. So I moved on to looking into the canned pots after that. And I got a little expensive with those. I have, the simple Heineken can, which you can't find anymore, but they're really nice. I still have a few left. I even made a Heineken percolator, which, I can make coffee with percolating in this now, and it can be a pot, so that's nice. I went down that road. I bought specialized lids from people like Tenney and at Mini Build Design and Smoke Eater 908. I bought specialized lids with rings that fit in the pots and such forth. So I have the Foster's pots. I went down that road. Got the cat food top that seals on this one with the ring inside of it. And this is a lid and a ring inside of here to hold this in place and not let it get crushed. This one has an internal ring that we push in and an external ring that keeps you from crushing it from the outside. You do a little wrapping with the fiberglass wick and you keep yourself from getting burned. So I've done that whole pass with the whole fiberglass wick, and that stuff's amazing on there. But those tend to wear out after a while, and you can't really use them forever. I looked for a replacement for the Heineken pot for a long time, and I think the best I've found is this Batch Stoves aluminum pot. And this lid, it fit it perfectly. I think he makes a lid for his, but this lid fit it perfectly, and I love it. And it let me make a percolator, coffee percolator, out of the whole thing. So that makes for a wonderful replacement. Anybody who's out there that's using this, or was using this, and wants to switch it up to something new, because they can't get these anymore, this is a good option. Another good option is the Foster's pot still out there. You can make that, but it's still a canned pot and they're going to wear out. I started looking around for other things at the time. I made this one here. This is made out of an aluminum water bottle. And it's pretty sturdy, but it has its flex, and that is where its downside is. And I was really on a percolator set for a while. That's another percolator inside my pot. And then I started going to looking for actual little percolators, mini percolators, and I found 2 of those. Now those are nice because, to be honest, you get a handle and everything else, but the handle does stick out and it can be annoying, and it's not much different in size than this. And I've used that for many trips. I started looking elsewhere. This is not a good idea. I know some people have seen these and said, oh, those are nice. It's an old, I guess it's a shake mixing container. I'm not really sure. But they're not a good idea for coffee pots. For backpacking pots. They're just super heavy. They're stainless steel. They're solid as a rock, but they're so heavy. I've actually gone as far as to, cut down a old paint spraying can and tried to use that, but then I got a little nervous about, it was brand new, never used, but I got a little nervous about how the paint, how they make those and manufacture them, and they're not thinking about any kind of food leaching or anything like that. It's made out of one of these things. So that I didn't use very much. I used it to boil water test a lot, but never really ate out of it. I think I ate out of it once or twice. I'll probably die at the age of 30. Yeah, right. I looked into some bigger stuff for camping with my family. This is a nice big pot, and it also makes for a great dual pot where you can bake inside it by putting something in the bottom and then putting a pot inside. So I kind of took the handle off there and put an O-ring on there. And that was a great pot for baking. I use it a lot for when I'm doing baking because it's got a lot of room and I can do 2 cupcakes in there. Or 2 biscuits or 2 muffins. And the inner can on that was made from one of these, and this is just a graduated measuring cup, and I've got a video out there how I tore that all down. It's great because it has cup measurements or quart. They're basically the same: half quart, quarter quart, half quart, 3/4, and a full quart. So it's a quart size flour measurer, and those really make for neat pots. I think I made one into a actual cooking pot here, and this is neat because I used it to nest 3 different parts of a pot. I have a lid, I have a skillet, mini skillet I should say, and the stove I made for this one nests perfectly inside here. Look at this. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Before the stove nests in there, I got my aluminum windscreen that I made out of a turkey thing, and then this is a pot inside of it for baking if I want to, and then inside that I have my pot stand for cooking on, and inside this is my cup made out of a salt shaker, and inside of there I have my alcohol stove, among other little fancy things. That black ring was to keep me from burning, tabletops and stuff. So that's that whole mess, and that kind of all nests together. So nesting pots is kind of important because then you can carry more in one small space. So that's a really good configuration of nesting things. And then I can pack that inside of a pot cozy. So that's one of my best designs so far, and I really like the way that that's worked out. And that's these cups here that really work out. And the inner cup is one of these. The inner cup that fits inside there is one of these, and that just fits right down inside there almost perfectly. You got just a spare little bit of room in there. That's a nice wide bottom in comparison to like a Heineken pot. It's about the same. So that's stainless steel though. So that's, you got to be aware that your pot's going to remain hot for a long time. Aluminum will cool off faster. Found this little pot. Haven't used it yet, but I found that at Goodwill. That was an ice cream maker. Came with a little plastic lid and an O-ring in here. Obviously I couldn't cook with that O-ring on there, but it makes for a nice watertight seal. So that's an interesting little pot that looks like it could hold a lot. There's that salt shaker I used for a cup, just by wrapping it in carbon felt and some wristbands. That's a nice, super lightweight cup. Speaking of cups, I've also done a lot of other things for cups. Just your simple aluminum cup that you get at Walmart, and these are cheap as all get out. If you don't like the handle, you just knock them off. So that's a simple plan. There's a little cup. I put some little aluminum cup mug, it says on the bottom, that I got somewhere and knocked the handle off, and I put carbon felt and wristbands around the edge of it for lip guards to keep your lips from getting burnt. That's a nice mug. A famous one out there is the Imusa. This is an Imusa 10 centimeter, that'd be an awful small mug, 10 millimeters. 10 millimeter mug. I did it again, 10 centimeter mug. And those make for nice cups. And they make a 12 centimeter one as well. I don't have one. I need to get one of those. I mentioned my coffee pot. Another great thing that you'll see out there a lot of is people using, oh, it's got water in it, the billy pot from Boy Scouts. So there's one style. And there's another style. There's nothing wrong with these. These are cheap, easily accessible, and work great. Been used for years. I mean, tried and true, tested, Not big pots, not large. There's the comparison to the grease pot. So a little on the small side for some things, and a nice flat pot. So that's low pot. It gives you a lot of surface space on the bottom. I've also gone to the extent of buying some expensive pots. I only have one out here today. This is one of my expensive pots. This is a Primus. It has the stove pot and everything inside of it. It comes with the heat core bottom. Makes for a really fast burn. You get your stove and everything inside here. A little skillet, a handle, and pop-out handle. Those are nice, but those are expensive. You're going to spend $50-$60 for something like that. So I've done that. I actually don't take this hardly ever because it is a little on the heavy side. I think this one might be titanium, but I don't know. Never actually looked into it that greatly. I just bought it and moved on. So sometimes you get a pot and it looks like a cool aluminum pot, but if you look closely, I don't know if I'll be able to see this in this video, there are miniature little holes in the bottom in there, so it must have been some kind of coffee or strainer pot. So you gotta be careful. There's a little bit of holes in here. So that pot didn't do me any good. Couldn't use it for anything except baking. So the reason I bring this up is that today I found some interesting pots I want to show you. This is my newest collection, and I'm not sure if I'll get to use them on a camping trip or how they'll work. I'm going to do a boil test on them today, which will be my next video. These are little stainless steel sugar tea coffee pots, and this whole thing was $9 at the Old Time Pottery. Is that right? I think it's Old Time Pottery, yeah. And there's just little stainless steel pot that says sugar on it. And it says it has an airtight lid. It's pretty airtight. So that's nice. And it's got it's got a little rock to it, but not too bad. It's got a flat bottom, but it's rounded around the edge. So that's kind of neat. Flame will probably roll around that. And it's just a simple little stainless steel canister, 30 ounces, with a little lid that's supposedly airtight. I don't know that you could cook with that on there. It might build up too much pressure. So you definitely want to, if you're going to use it as a lid, turn it over like that, maybe. The only downside to this is it is stainless steel, which makes it a little stronger. You know, that's nice that it's stronger. But it also makes it harder to cool off when you're done with it. So once this is hot, you're not going to set it down and just grab it because it'll take longer to cool off. Although it's a very thin stainless steel, so it won't be as bad as I think. Might wrap this with something. And I don't know, we'll see. That flat bottom could be the problem. The non-flat bottom could be a problem. It may rock off it's a little wobbly. But it's got some decent stand to it. So I'm going to do a burn test with this and see how it does. See how it holds up on top of one of my stoves. But that's everything I want to show you in this pots video. Talk to you guys later.